Do you get scared going to the grocery store and buying produce because you're worried that half of it is going to be thrown away? I want to teach you some of my secret tricks to making sure that we have zero food waste. Hi, my name is Amy Cross, and this is the Cross Legacy, where I teach you all kinds of produce tips and help you save money on groceries. And one of those ways is that I spread out my grocery shopping cycle as long as possible. When I first started doing this, it was just to spread it out where we didn't go grocery shopping more than once a week. And then I was able to eventually spread it out a little bit longer, so we only went to grocery shopping once every 2 weeks. And then over time, I found that going every 3 weeks was the magic number for me. But that doesn't have to be the magic number for you. So one of the ways that I'm able to stretch out those grocery shopping trips is by knowing what order to eat the items that I'm bringing home. And in our grocery planner, which is linked in the description, we have a list in there that tells you which berries to eat first and which ones will last a long time. But this video is also going to teach you some extra tips on produce. So one of those items that used to send us to the grocery store a couple times a week were avocados. And avocados are so expensive right now. And I have learned a trick over the last couple years that if you store avocados and lemons together in your crisper drawer, avocados will actually stay fresh for over a month, and the lemons will stay fresh even longer. So any kind of citrus, if you're storing those together in the crisper drawer, is the best. So that was the first thing that I learned to help me spread out those grocery shopping trips. But my other thing is we vary in family size. We have college-age kids and we're foster parents. So sometimes it's just Mike and I here, and sometimes there can be a whole crowd. But when I'm planning my grocery shopping trips, I'm planning on what we can eat to have food security for weeks at a time. And one of those things is not just buying berries, but to be able to buy other things that last longer and don't necessarily have to be in the refrigerator. So when we had a lot of littles here at the house at one time, I was buying a lot more produce, but I was focusing on things like watermelons that could stay out of the refrigerator. This watermelon right here is actually over 2 months old at this point and still perfectly fine. Or apples. These just came from the store, but I would wash them, and you can store them outside of the refrigerator for a long time. So these are kind of two items that we have often as extras for food security in our house that I can still give anybody that wants to eat some fruit. And it might not be the exact item that they wanted at that second, but it keeps me from going to the grocery store. So for most of these items, we have individual produce videos for them that teach the exact tricks on how to wash them and to store them for longer periods of time. This video is just kind of an overhaul to show you all of them. And we have a brand new book that's coming out. So make sure that you're checking the description to see our produce book that has 75 of the produce items and all of the instructions for each specific item. But I just wanted to be able to talk about these as a group because we don't get to do that as often as we should. So for apples, these are 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐄𝐓 apples, and they're like one of my favorites. So this is a new variety of apples that actually came out with a collab with Washington State University, and you know, go Cougs. So I love being able to support our local farmers. But 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐄𝐓 apples are designed not to oxidize as quickly. If you're trying to cut up apples to send in school lunches and those kind of things, the 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐄𝐓 and Honeycrisp are the best choices to get for those, and they don't turn brown as quickly. And I also have a trick of keeping the apples in a glass jar with a metal lid after they're cut, and they will stay fresh longer that way also. But 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐄𝐓 is what I'm always going for. And then the other thing is whatever oranges are in season. Right now we have the blood oranges that are in season right now, so it's always fun to get the new citrus items that are in season, and those rotate out throughout the year. So these are fun, and when we cut into them after we wash them, they're, you know, a different color, which can be exciting for your kids too, to have new oranges. But oranges, apples, and bananas should never be stored stored near each other. And if you're storing those in a produce bowl all together, they're actually making each other spoil so quickly. So especially if you're trying to spread out those grocery shopping trips and not make your produce go bad quickly, put those 3 items in separate areas. So normally I have my bananas on a hanger and I keep it on the other side of the kitchen away from my apples and oranges. If I have room in my refrigerator and it's the fall and winter time, then I will put my oranges in the refrigerator in the crisper drawer with my other citrus and avocados. A lot of people don't pay attention to it, but apples are only picked in the fall. So if you are getting apples any other time besides the fall, they should go into the refrigerator also, because if you're getting apples in the summertime, they're like 10 months old. Okay, and then we have the 2 biggest culprits here for fruit flies. So if you haven't guessed already, this pineapple is the #1 worst one to bring in your house with fruit flies. And then the other one is these kiwi, which are really funny. I cannot touch kiwi or it makes an allergic reaction on my hands, but I can eat kiwi. So we are going to leave these in the container today, and then I'll make Mike peel them for me so I can actually eat some of them. But if you have kids that are saying they make their hands feel funny, take it from an adult. They really do make my hands feel funny for days after touching them. But make sure you always wash your pineapple. I always do it crown side down first in a big stock pot, and then I flip it over the other way to make sure that it's not bringing any fruit flies. And even if I'm just cutting it right away to throw it in the garbage can, I don't want those to develop fruit flies in my outside garbage can either. So I just always make sure right when I bring it home that I'm washing these items or making Mike wash them. When I went through the checkout line, the workers were commenting on how much fruit that I had, and I was just kind of laughing because this is a normal array of how much fruit I buy at a time, and I don't have to worry that any of this is going to go bad. But I do have blackberries, blueberries, grapes, and strawberries. And when they're washed properly, you can get them to last from 2 to 8 weeks, depending on which ones you have. And that way you can always be rotating out new items. So this time I went grocery shopping, I got blackberries. The next time I go grocery shopping, I will probably get raspberries. And blueberries will actually stay fresh in my fridge for 6 to 8 weeks. Let's talk about all the things berries right now. So these are all the berries that I would buy in a typical grocery shopping trip. I got blackberries. I normally get blackberries or raspberries. I don't normally get them both at the same time. Strawberries, pretty much always. Grapes and blueberries. I try to get as much organic as possible just because berries are one of the most heavily sprayed with pesticides, and it gets into the water and it gets into the plant, and the pesticides are grown into the produce items. So if we can just eliminate it as much as possible from the beginning, that is the best. So buying all of this at the same time is not scary as long as you have room in your refrigerator. But I am able to do this because the blackberries or raspberries will last 2 to 3 weeks. Strawberries will last 3 weeks. Grapes will last 4 to 6 weeks. And blueberries will last 6 to 8 weeks when you follow the instructions that I teach you. Now we have all kinds of washing videos. We will make sure to link those in the description so you can go to the exact berry item that you're looking for. And we also have a new produce book that will be in the description also. So make sure if this is the first time that you are checking out the Cross Legacy, that the next video you go watch is the strawberry washing video.